Today we're going to do a brief introductory of how to multiply binomials together. You'll notice on number 1 on your worksheet, there is no addition or subtraction sign here. So whenever you have two parentheses back to back like that, it means multiply. To do this, we are going to use something called FOIL. F standing for the first terms in each parenthesis, O standing for the outside terms, I inside terms, L last terms. Hit pause so you can write that down. Here's how this works. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the F in my FOIL. The F stands for first terms. So I'm going to look here at this 5x and here at this x. 5 times the imaginary 1 that's right there still lands me with 5. X times x gives me x squared. Then I go to the outside terms, which means I look at 5x again, but this time with the 5. 5 times 5 is 25, and I have an x over here on this first term, so it's 25x. Now I go inside, which means I do this 1 and this x here. 1 times x is 1x. And now I'm going to do my last terms, which is this 1 times that 5, which gives me a 5. And now to get my answer, I look to see what I can combine. I have absolutely nothing else with an x squared. So my first term of 5x squared is part of my answer. I have two terms that have an x attached to them. Positive 25 plus 1 is a positive 26x. And then I have one final term with no variable attached to it. And so he gets tacked on to the end. So this right here is my answer in standard form, starting with the exponent with the biggest, or the variable with the biggest exponent, and going in decreasing order. Let's try number 2. First term, I take n times 8n to get 8 times that 1 is an 8. N times n is n squared. Outside terms, n times negative 1 is a negative n. Inside terms, negative 8 times 8n. 8 times 8 is 64, so negative 64n. And then our last terms are negative 8 times negative 1, which makes a positive 8. And now it's time to smush it all together. Again, you'll notice I only have 1 with an n squared. So my first term of my answer should be 8n squared. I have 2 with an n, so I take negative 1 minus 64 and end up with negative 65n. And then I have one constant term of positive 8 that gets tacked on to the end. Hit pause for a second and you do number 3. Alright, so number 3. First terms, 2m times 4m, you should have gotten 8m squared. Outside terms, 2m times 4 is 8m. Inside terms, 1 times 4 is 4m. And last terms, 0 times 4 is a positive, or 1 times 4 is a positive 4. And now combine them. Well, I only have 1 m squared, so that's part of my answer. I have 2 m's, so 8 plus 4 gives me a positive 12m. And then I have one final constant, so a plus 4 on the end. And there's my answer. I'm going to quickly walk through a few more, and then the rest are yours to do. So, let's begin with the first terms. Outside terms, inside terms, last terms. So k times 5k is 5k squared. Outside terms, k times negative 7 is negative 7k. Inside terms, 2 times 5k is 10k. And last terms, 2 times negative 7 is a negative 14. So then, we just have to combine our like terms. We only have 1k squared, so that's part of our answer. Negative 7 plus 10 is a positive 3k with minus 14 on the end. You'll notice in every single one of these, the only two terms that combine are the outside and inside terms, your two middle ones. The two outer ones just be a part of your answer. So, first terms, outside, inside, last. 8x times x, 8x squared. Outside, 8x times 4 is a positive 32x. Inside, 3 times x is written as 3x. And last, 3 times 4 is a positive 12. So then, we just rewrite it. I have 8x squared because I know there are no other squares. 32x plus 3x is 35x. And then plus 12 gets tacked on. I hope we're getting the trend that is forming. First, outside, inside, last. Alrighty now, first term, 6a times 6a is a positive 36a squared. 6a times 2 is 12a. Negative 1 times 6 for our inside term is negative 6a. And negative 1 times 2 is a negative 2. So now let's combine. Our first term stays. Our second term and third term can be combined, so 12 minus 6 is a positive 6a. And our last term gets written down. We're going to do two more, and then I'm turning you loose. So, FOIL, k times 6k, 6k squared. K times 4 is a positive 4k. 3 times 6k is an 18k. And 3 times 4 is 12. Now I'm going to go through, combine like terms. Nothing combines with the top term here, so that's part of my answer. 4k and 18k can combine to make 22k. And nothing combines with 12, so it's part of my answer. Last one, I promise. FOIL. Start with 4b times 5b to get 20b squared. Start with 4b times 3, which is 12b. 6 times 5b is 30b. And 6 times 3 is 18. Now we just need to combine like terms, which means these two get smushed together. So I have 20b squared. 12b and 30b make 42b plus 18. Finish your worksheet, please.